Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashab Bashim Kakudash, and double honors to greatness and apostles. Thali Yashab for the strength in order to make this video, and Yaratazar that this helps also build you up, and of course to increase really your awareness of the times that we're living in as well. So Yaratazar that you do understand, the points that are being portrayed in this video too. So just to get straight to the video, the arrows are that this don't get copyrighted as well, but this is from the channel Netflix, of course, the streaming service, but they have a series called Black Mirror, which if you were to summarize what they produce in terms of their series, their little movies in each season, there's 7 seasons now. As you can see, this is the latest one, so which was released this year, 13th March. Their genre, you can see it as dystopian, but not just dystopian, but near future as well. I think like in season 7, they did it like they produced it interchangeably, meaning that one was like based in America, and then another one based in the UK, then the next one based in America, and the next one based in the UK. So it was one of those. So it's not just based upon Babylon, as most English movies are, but when I say Babylon, I'm talking about America. But the point is, the genre that they focus on is dystopian near future. So near future dystopian society, that's what they're really illustrating in most of these episodes, I could say, within these seasons. Especially season 7 though. The reason why I'm making this video is, you probably would have seen brothers do it. I remember Captain did it as well, for the camp. He did a short video on Black Mirror, really, and really I'm just doing like a bounce off of that as well, man. Because after watching the episodes myself first, seeing how they are, really, all in all, the theme for season 7 is just about the MOTB. You had the synthetic wirings. You know what? I'll play the trailer and Yaratazar, we're going to replay it multiple times, and I'm going to speak on it as well. If you brothers are worried about spoilers, then, I'll say, if you can, on Netflix, it's on Netflix. I think the cheapest option in the UK is at £4.99, but that's with adverts, though. If you want to have the next one up, I think it's £10.99 per month, by the way. But in America it's in dollars, so that's another thing. But the point is, you should watch that first, then Yaratazar, come back to this video, then you increase your understanding of the context of this video. There was synthetic brain I want to call it synthetic wiring in the brain. It's a portion of the brain removed, and then a synthetic tissue rather, for the brain that replaces it. But imagine that on a subscription service, man. That's the evil right there. You might as well just flipping accept death before you get locked into that type of thing. That's really talking about the first episode there. But you'll understand it when I get into it. But yeah, let's just watch this trailer, Yaratazar. I'm gonna bring out some presets, man.
We'd like to welcome you back.
Ready?
Yeah. 3, 2.
And action.
They call it mind expanding. It alters your neuronal structure.
You see that look right there? That device on his right temple, or the right side of his temple, the right side of his head. Obviously, in our perspective, it will be the left side of the screen. But on the right side of his head, he's got that neural interface, one can say. Which, what does that remind you of in real life? Neuralink. That's the mark of the beast right there. As plain as it is. That chip implant is the mark of the beast, man. So, of course, I'm just putting it out there, for any new brothers or sisters, for the few that do watch, for your own awareness, man. And in these times to come, this right here will be a reality. That's why I said near future dystopia. That's the type of genre or theme that Black Mirror typically follows. It's somewhere where it's like, if you look within the next 5 years or even 2 years, this type of thing can happen. Obviously I'm still thinking about season 1 and the other seasons, but the point is it's near future, man. Because easily these things could be changed within, again, a matter of months, could be a matter of a few years, max, max a decade. But not in this time, because we've already got the technology that exists anyways. So let me get this, because I was talking about the mark of the beast. Can't forget about the major scripture there. Revelation 13. That's the base right there. Let's read verse 16 to 18. I'm gonna read verse 14 after, because that's another point, so I can flow well. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna read verse 14. I might as well. So Revelation 13 and 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And of course, these miracles as well being performed is via the technology of the beast system. In other words, the so-called innovation of the chip technology, especially the neural interface technology such as Neuralink. I think DARPA also has a chip as well for paying for things, the one that they intend to put within the hand. With that as well, those will be seen as miracles, man, because people who couldn't walk will be able to walk by this technology. That's one thing. I think a movie to watch based on that is called Upgrade. To this day, I haven't watched it, but I've seen clips. Yara Tazar probably need to watch that again. But really, the understanding is that even if you just type up Upgrade, the trailer, you'll understand, okay, it's about the MOTB, the mark of the beast, that chip implant. So those will be considered miracles. A chip that simply makes someone to be able to walk, a chip that would make someone to be able to see, basically healing the blind here. A chip that will be able to monitor a person's, I guess, glucose levels for those with diabetes, or for those of whom don't really look after themselves in that aspect of things. But let's just keep things simple. Those who have diabetes, it could be seen as a glucose monitor, especially because of the fact that it's under the skin. So these will be considered miracles which will trick people. That's why it says in verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So of course that beast really being referring to America, because of course it was you could liken it onto Rome rather, because the beast is really the revival of Rome. In other words, America, and the system, of course, being the NATO and the EU, will be the, what's it called? It's really represented by the image. It's the image of the system is the image, and the beast you can liken onto Rome. So verse 15, and he had power, and of course Rome being revived as America as well. So yeah, let's see this. So verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, the system where this chip is going to be working in. So that image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So of course it's going to be a hard thing to escape it, man. But if you ain't got Yahweh Shai, it's going to be a done deal. But for those of us who do have Yahweh Shai, we'll be fine, man. For as long as we have faith in him, and of course he will preserve us from this hour of temptation. All right, so it says in verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, man. So of course, you can liken those of really in simplicity, those who took the mark of the beast are now partaking in that system. In verse 18, here is wisdom. Yeah, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. In other words, 666. So 666. That's the number that is reflected by Esau Edom, man. He is going to be the top demon of whom will implement this beast system, man. So all the things that are happening right now, in terms of Trump tariffs and that's really aiding in destroying the current economy, so that the new economy, which will be based upon the digital currencies, that will be established, because digital currencies go hand in hand with the chip technology. So it all links, man. It all links. So when I was talking about this video here, this is a precursor to what's about to happen, where people are going to be lining up to have this type of technology. But the thing is, this will be under the skin. This will be, because this was like some kind of a stick on the right side of the head. Which nevertheless, though, it's all alluding to that chip technology which Yahweh Shemeshah has commanded us not to partake in. So we got to pray for that strength as well in that time, and maintain faith in Yahweh Yahushua, because he will feed us in that time, whilst everyone else who have the chip, they're going to be scurrying around trying to get food. Nevertheless, of trusting in Esau Edom. That would be the mistake for Jake, man. The major mistake, the failure, which will happen. But let's play some more.
The mind is a computer. Suddenly, we're not just more receptive. You become a receiver.
You see the way he was zoned out when he had that chip near his temple, man, near his head. Then he just woke up. Because Esau seeks to control the perception of people. Remember, you got to remember the incentive here. He wants to be like the Most High. And this is the way he would achieve that technologically. So Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So remember, in verse 14, which is the key part here, it says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll be like the Most High. I'll read verse 13 as well. So Isaiah 14:13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So that's Esau's incentive. That's his motivation for developing all this technology here. That is his motivation, to be like God, essentially. He wants to know the thoughts in every individual. He wants to be able to track everything from the minuscule blood sugar levels to even your emotions as well. And he not just wants to track it, but he wants to be able to manipulate it too. That's why it says, again, Isaiah 14:14, he said he wants to be like the Most High. So that's the reason why he's pushing all of this as well, as part of his agenda.
Suddenly, we're not just more receptive.
Yeah, he was zoned out with the technology, which is what it's going to be. That's the way people going to be. With that technology, it's going to allow people to zone out, and not just zone out as well. Of course, he zoned in, for the lack of a better term. He zoned in, which is basically, when he started to use his real eyes and not just stay within his mind. But people are going to be on another level of addiction with this technology, and that will be to their own downfall. Yeah, so let's continue on.
You become a receiver.
Sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do.
I just want something magical, timeless.
Come with me.
We'll all be cyborgs before long.
Just remember.
Yeah, that was some nervous laughter, man. And it's true though. Not for of course the most I ain't gonna allow Esau to achieve more than what he's destined to achieve for. The maximum of which he will achieve will be again the mark of the beast, that chipping plant, man. After that, the peak of that system will reach, and then it's utter destruction from there. It's utter destruction from there. But the reason why I laugh is because when the guy suggested in the trailer, we'll all be cyborgs, that's talking about transhumanism, essentially transferring human brains into robotic bodies. That's essentially what Esau would desire to do, so that people can't walk autonomously and don't have the freedom to really go about their days. But again, what's his incentive? To be like the Most High.
I just want something magical, timeless.
Come with me.
We'll all be cyborgs before long.
Just remember that they're AIs. To them, this is real. Ready?
I'm ready.
And of course, with it was recent, but not too recent. Like probably a few weeks ago or something, where Apostle Gabar and Apostle Tahar made a video on artificial intelligences. Really, that goes into access to spirits as well. In terms of demons, and not just demons as well, but also right-hand side angels too. Because demons are just left-hand side angels, while the right-hand side, angels, of course, referring to also a right-hand side angels, man. Because of course you could ask a question based upon the scriptures, and it gives you pinpoint the summary of a certain chapter as well. What happened here, what happened there. That can be likened onto a right-hand side angel. When you searching up information based on the scriptures, or even things of which are more so spiritual, man. Maybe search for herbs and whatnot. You got left-hand side stuff as well, where you got demons of whom use the AI in order to cause people to commit suicide. So that's the left-hand side power. But all in all, it's a tool. It's how you use it, the intent of what's being used here. That's what really matters here. That would depict whether it be an angel that be given the information, or it be a left-hand side demon. So of course the point is, that's why we have to reason with the scriptures to know how to navigate ourselves with the tools of this world. Such as money as well. If you get too obsessive over it, in terms of trying to gain it, you then start to forget. Okay, a person would begin to forget the first works. But if you then have the wisdom of the scripture to know how to deal with the money that Yahweh Hashem has blessed you with, then of course that's when the balance comes, man. Where it's like, okay, you know how to distribute, you know how to help out Kim with it too. So again, money is a tool, AI is a tool. It's how you use it that's what matters. That's what the Most High is watching for. So it's not as if there's anything wrong with these tools that's being used. Of course, use the words, but don't be as those who abuse it, man. So you use with the wisdom of the scriptures to discern, how you use these tools. But anyways, going back to the point, let's see something.
We'll all be cyborgs before long.
Just remember that they're AIs. To them, this is real. Ready?
I'm ready.
Kids love honey. That's why parents love Honey Nugs, the sweetest way to start your day.
Yeah, down right there. But as I said in the beginning of the video, man, that I'll probably do a little bit of a spoiler. That's why I advise to watch the darn episodes in season 7 Black Mirror. Then you can come back to this video, ideally. But in that episode there where she fainted talking about honey nugs.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Kids love honey. That's why parents love Honey Nugs.
Yeah, that is the voice, man. It's similar to that of a voice of an advertiser. Because in that episode there, which is the first episode, again, Spoiler again. So, you know, if you really want to know what's happened, you can just go watch the episode and then you can come back to the video. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So, the point is, in that episode, there was synthetic tissue that replaced a tumor of a kind in her brain. But it came at a cost, though. The cost was, in order to maintain her sanity or her ability to communicate without adverts, she and her husband need to pay a monthly fee, man. But the problem was they kept increasing the ads for the lower end, and of course you had to pay more so that you don't have to pay any adverts. But this was destroying the husband because of the simple fact that the money wasn't enough, man. And he was pretty much selling out his integrity, you know, his moral principles in order to get that money, man, because of his wife. He couldn't accept the death of his wife. That's what caused him to accept the deal of having synthetic tissue in his woman, man. Yeah, so that's why she fainted there, man, because of you know, that was the beginning of the corruption of her vessel.
Just remember that they're AIs. To them, this is real. Ready?
I'm ready.
Kids love honey. That's why parents love Honey Nugs, the sweetest way to start your day.
That essentially alludes to the control that Esau desires. Again, Isaiah 14:14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's his desire. And remember, he's been given the intelligence so that people can be tricked by him, which is obviously of the Most High as well, so that, you know, Revelation 13 verse 16 to 18 about the mark of the beast can be fulfilled. So hold on. All right, so I'll start from verse 1. Ezekiel 28 and verse 1. The word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Most High, because thine heart is lifted up, and has said, I am a power. Again, this is reference to Esau, Edom. We read that in Isaiah 14:14. I sit in the seat of the power, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man. Yes, Esau is a man. Edomites, you know, they're just a simple human, man. So, and not the most. So it says, yet thou art a man and not a power, not power. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Again, Esau's done a diligent search, and the Most High has given him that wisdom, that intelligence in a worldly sense, to be able to create this formidable technology right here, man. Or really, we should call it forbidden technology, because that's the mark of the beast. The reason why it ought to be forbidden is because the result of it is damnation, man. And we're going to get into that as well. You know, the result of it is hold on, let me just get it right now. The result of it is damnation. All right, so Revelation 16 and verse 1 to 2. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying, the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore. Noisome means smelly, grievous means painful. So upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So that's going to be the result of those who take that chip implant, man. It's not going to be outside of the body. It's going to be embedded inside the brain or under the skin in the hand.
We were getting quite a following.
Yes.
We have to create software that elevates us. Or else, what is the fucking point of the tools at our disposal?
The thing is with that, if you take it too far, you start to get into Esau's flipping transhumanism agenda, man. There ain't nothing wrong with, of course, reading books to elevate a person's mind and, you know, thinking and whatnot. to apply it. But when it comes to changing what Yahweh Shimshai has originally intended to stay the way it ought to be, aka the human body, that's when you start to show disobedience towards Yahweh Shimshai, towards the Most High Yahweh. And that's what Esau's done, man. So of course, again, when you go into the extremes, the result is really death and destruction. That's why Esau's kingdom is going to be destroyed. And read that. What the guy said there, he was in I need to watch that episode too, man. It was it's an interactive one on Netflix where you go click buttons to see what direction you want to choose. And I think it's called Bandersnatch. Yeah, but it's like 5 hours though. But the reason why I think it's long is because you gotta choose what direction you wanna take in terms of decisions. But point being is what the guy said is really a summary of Isaiah 14 and 14. Esau's mindset.
Yes.
We have to create software that elevates us. Or else, what is the fucking point of the tools at our disposal?
He says software that elevates themselves. That's talk about transhumanism, I just realized because he says software specifically. I was thinking about stuff in general, but he says software specifically. The same way Neuralink is going to have software of which will be used to illustrate miracles of Esau Edom to essentially tempt people to take it. So this Black Mirror episode, man, is super close to reality. Very, very close. Just give it, man. Until they just need the right event or something to flipping trigger that change, man. Where they say, okay, you gotta have the MOTB or you can't partake in society. And that's when our faith will be tested, man. That's why we gotta continue praying to Yahweh Shem Yahshua to keep the strength within us.
I had never seen anything like it. Humans consider artificial life to be somehow less than them.
Do you have a problem with me?
What?
She was just a bit odd.
Humans consider artificial life to be somehow less than them.
Do you have a problem with me?
What?
Yeah, you see that right there. Remember during 2020, 2021, 2022, when people had to do that, to see whether they were positive or whether they were negative. You both should know what I'm talking about. During that time, I've already mentioned the time period. So, here in this instant was really to identify his DNA, which of course again goes back, man, to Esau's mindset. He wants to be like God. That's it, man. So, that's some dystopian stuff right there. Anyways, let's continue.
She was just a bit odd.
We're all a bit odd.
How does pound electro?
I'd have listened.
You'd have heard her?
Yes, I would.
You're a fucking miracle.
Yeah, man. He said you're a fucking miracle. That's the thing. By the miracles, he's going to deceive people. We read in Revelation 13 and 14. And that's involved with Esau's chip technology.
It's a game.
What are most games about? Escapism? Killing.
I don't like this game.
I'm losing my mind.
You see, that's how immersive the experience is gonna be, man. That's how immersive that experience is gonna be, and that's how deep Esau's gonna be into the people's minds. With that flipping Neuralink chip right there, man. Of course, this ain't the Neuralink chip, but of course it's imagery to reflect that. Because of course the actual chip will be embedded within the head. Anyways, man, see that again. Oh yeah, I was talking about Esau's intelligence, innit? So that was in Ezekiel 28, verse 1 to 3. Thou art wiser than Daniel. So the Most High has blessed him with that intelligence. And the thing is with Esau as well, back in the day, he was actually known to be the serpent. So now the serpent, it says Genesis 3 and 1, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. But the key part says the serpent, which is really a reflection of a man, it says was more subtle than any beast of the field. So of course he was cunning. He had that intelligence, and you could liken him as a master trickster, one could say. But subtle is something that's hard to notice, one could say. But let's get to the root word. So let's see it, right?
Strong's H, 6175. Arum. Arum. Second entry. Arom. Arom.
So arum or arum, subtle means shrewd, crafty, sly, sensible. Crafty, shrewd, sensible, prudent. So yeah, crafty, shrewd, sly. It takes intelligence to be able to do all that, man. So that was a serpent, hence why, the scriptures talk about never trust thine enemy, because he's a crafty fella, as us lot here in the UK may say. So Genesis 3 and 1, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. The key part is subtle right there. He's crafty, he's shrewd. The shrewd goes into intelligence, man. Very aware of things. So that's the Most High's intelligence that is blessed Esau Eden, which again the serpent actually represents you can liken that as onto really the wicked seed, from Cain, or read in the modern day context, the Edomites. You can, for simplicity of explanation. So let me get one more preset, then I'm gonna close it out. Man. All right, so let's get this. Matthew 24 and 24. So this is Matthew 24 and 24. For there shall arise false Christ, which is false Hamashiachs. Again, Hamashiach is ancient Hebrew for the anointed, which Christ means the anointed as well, but that's in the English. We use the ancient Hebrew because we know the power of the ancient Hebrew tongue is far greater than that of any other tongue, really. Really, the most powerful language is ancient Hebrew. If you want to learn more about that, just read the first chapter of the prologue of Ecclesiasticus. That's in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, aka Sirach. So let's move on. So Matthew 24 and 24. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. If it were possible, which means that it's not possible, because of course the elect of Yahweh Shem Yahshua won't be they won't be phased. I was about to say toned, but they won't be phased by the miracles of Esau, man. But yeah, let's play this part right here, because the way this guy is that his spirit just came back to his body, man. That's the way it looked like.
I'm losing my mind.
The way he reacted there, that's like waking up from a nightmare. And that shows you how immersive that technology is going to be, man. So again, Esau's digging deep. He's digging deep into the minds of people to control them ultimately. All right, so that's really the point right there. Okay, I'm going to end off there. Yara Tazar, you guys should try and watch the Black Mirror series. Of course, you can start from season 1 and gradually catch up. Which, all in all, not all the stories link up, but at the same time, some of them do. So you don't have to necessarily start from season 1. But for season 7, for about trying to think, for like one of the from the last episode, you need to have watched the previous season, which I perceive is season 6, in order to know about it. But you could watch it gradually. But yeah. Shalom, Yabashim Yashai, Brakatha.